which prompts a elector in India to throw her voting in favor of a applicant. Characteristically, her selection would be affected by the applicant's sameness, philosophy, caste, productivity, or ethnic origin. Cash money bribes to voters are as well wide-minded to impact the vote option of the poorest and largest sensitive voters. Days up the ladder polls in the southern country of Karnataka, authorities unsecured cash money and some inducements cost more than rather than $20 meter, pound, in which was outlined as a recording-breaking drag. One paper declared how workers had been transmitting cash to banking accounts of voters who had pledged to voice for their applicant, and though incorporated to pay more than after if their applicant win. Hard to buy votes in cash money and some talent in the run-up to elections is wild in India. One major cause is how policy has been ferociously competition. Down there were 464 parties in the brawl in 2014, up of 55 in the at first poll in 1952. The ordinary profit of win was 9.7% in 2009, the thinnest with the at first poll. At 15%, the ordinary profit of win was fatter in the landslip 2014 polls, but though the was significantly reduced rather than tell, the ordinary profit of win in the 2012 U.S. congressional elections, 32%, and the 2010 general poll in Britain, 18%. Elections include as well be flying. Parties do not monitoring voters as so as they one day might include made. Parties and candidates are more than vague on results rather than always up, and try to buy votes by splurging cash money on voters. New study by Simon Chouchard, aide prof by the government at Dartmouth School, U.S., argues how bribery voters may not definitely lead votes. Afraid how their opponents will spread handouts, they spread them themselves to resist, or neutralize, their opponents' strategies, he says. It looks love and all some play. Dr. Chouchard and a crew of researchers collected data and information for 2 elections, one for the legal gathering in 2014, and the some for a public chair in 2017, in Mumbai speaking to policy workers of the main parties. They found candidates funneling cash money and some talent love drink via powerful regional countrymen, habitation community presidents, sectarian and association leaders, in the week's guideline up to the elections. Several of them could be conducting up to 1,000 rupees or $15 on each elector in their society. Side workers said the researchers how handouts done at top a little distinction. Lot payments never achieved the voters as regional influencers pocketed the cash money themselves. One applicant who was the largest waster in fact completed 4. Several 80 workers of all parties said researchers how cash money handouts and some talent affecting a tiny quantity of voters. Side workers partially accused the voters for the country of sphere. The voters, they bemoaned, had be shrewd, possessing implemented how it was close impossible for candidates to display their vote behavior. So they pocketed the cash money and devotee though the largest lavish applicant. Down there was no testimony to propose how candidates were channeling cash to each mandrel or swinging voters. Profitable voters is not completely worthless or ineffective although, Dr. Chouchard said me. Thou could miss votes if you didn't. It helps you to standard the game box. You may miss more than if you didn't offer a souvenir. Just in really tightly elections, could it inclination the balance sheet. Sanjay Kumar, a guideline Delhi-based policy scholar, says down there is a insurmountable faith amongst parties how they can buy votes of impoverished human beings. How's why largest parties bribery voters. All parties go on to expend on voters in the expect how the indecisive elector or the bang elector will keel above. But down there is no testimony how the happens or helps at all. Bribery voters could include a culture explain. Public scientists say how impoverished voters in Southward Asia cherish rich or lavish candidates. In a very uneven community, cash money bribes and talent build a feeling of mutuality. India has a length story of nursing policy. Anastasia Pylievsky, a public anthropologist at College of Cambridge, investigated voters in village Rajasthan and found they wait feasts or handouts of candidates. In village India, she argues, election policy is frequently articulated in the conventional idiomatic expression of nursing. The funder-servant relationship was the main equation via that human beings exchanged things, carried out force and associated social. So, far off of the inquisitive eyes of poll authorities, candidates cast counterfeit marriage and date of birth parties wherever unidentified guests, or acceptable voters, rotate up for meal and some back talent love cash money. In the late, on to anthropologist Mukulika Banerjee of London High School of Economy, sensitive voters get cash of all the parties who proposed it and following making so throw their voice not to the highest tenderer but by take in review which they mysteriously period some considerations sorrowfully the is fair the way it is now in policy, a BJP lead said Dr. Chowchard. Thou include to expend. Down there is no some way about the, at low order currently. Else political figure had a more than funny insight of the compulsions. Cash money in elections is love pump gas in a motorcycle, he told. If you don't put gas in the bicycle, you never get to yours purpose. But you do not get down there more rapid if you put, more than natural gas.